Hey everyone, my name is Danilo Petrovic.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Denis Kudla.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Torebko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Well, hey, welcome back, tennis fans. Here we are. It's Australian Open, and the first round has thrown up some crazy results. We thought it was all plain sailing, didn't we, after the first day, JG? But now look what's happening. It's really hotting up.
Yeah, excited? Like you said, mate, all the favourites were going through until I believe last night. And then we started seeing a few of the seeds tumble.
That's it, mate. It was a little bit of a shocker, and especially, some real big upsets. We've had some people who were, say, 11-1, knocking out some other people. And like you said, the seeds.
Mate,
I mean,
the brackets. My bracket is absolutely a disgrace right now. I had a look at it earlier, and I've made so many amateur moves on both the men's and the women's side. Some of them you couldn't really predict, so I'm not going to be too hard on myself, but regardless, it's not looking very good on the prediction front this year for me.
Well, yeah, there's no better place to start, though. I think we should just get stuck into it because there's a few to discuss here. The biggest shock for me, I woke up and then I saw Roberto Bautista Agut had gone tumbling out of the tournament. Don't know if you can see here, too.
Yeah.
The guy that you're not his biggest fan, Radu Albot, mate. He always bringing up the crazy results, which we can see there. Radu Albot bagels Bautista Agut in the second set.
No, this is one of the craziest matches. Obviously, we didn't get to watch it, but just looking at some of the stuff people are posting online, something what really just blew me away was the amount of points he won in the first set and compared to second set. So Agut in the first set won 53 points. In the second set, he won only 3 points the whole entire set. And it's polar opposite. How can you go from winning over 50 points to not winning hardly any? I'm not sure how it happened. Obviously, he played ATP Cup before. Is it a case of fatigue? I saw online maybe he's suffering with a little injury, like an abdominal injury. But regardless, you'd expect someone of his ilk to be quite comfortably dispatching an Albot.
Yeah, I mean, Radu Albot's good, but I wouldn't have him on even close to the level.
I don't understand what possible weapon Albot has to be able to beat Agut, but tennis does throw up these shocks, and I think we've just got to give a massive hats off to Radu Albot. He was probably a bit worried before the match, thinking it's going to be a big ask today. However, he didn't look it at all because he in the end of the day was actually pretty comfortable.
Yeah, and a sort of similar thing that we normally see from Bautista Agut's matches is he normally gives away a lot of break points. This one, he gave away 14 break points in this match. His winner count to unforced errors, 33 winners to 60 unforced errors for Bautista Agut, which is uncharacteristic to say the least. He's normally so solid. Just didn't expect to see that from him. And Radu Albot, 51 winners to 40 unforced errors, which I'm shocked about that too.
Albot now, who does he have in the next round? Do you know?
I can bring up the bracket and then find out. I didn't have that one prepared. That would have been a good thing to...
it's just interesting to see because at the end of the day, if it's someone who's beatable, you'd fancy him to actually have a little run now because beating Agut is going to be full of confidence. And he's clearly playing some really good tennis right now.
Oh, mate, yeah, he's definitely playing some of the best tennis. I mean, he obviously beat...
he's got Chris O'Connell. So he's got Chris O'Connell in the next round.
Yeah, you beat me to it, mate. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. And that's another one we're going to get onto in a minute, Chris O'Connell.
Just shout out to people who join us. We've got Almino here. How are we doing? Team Groves. I see he's smashing up the bracket, doing very well. So congrats to you. And he's saying, I think we're probably going to go on to this one next, Evans, saying he regrets the long run at the 250 event now. And
I don't see that as a huge upset, to be honest. I mean, those two are very closely matched, really, Evans and Norrie. I didn't really have it on my list of massive upsets. I think that it was very close in the odds. I think the bookies knew he'd just played a whole tournament. He saw Norrie beat Evans in the Battle of the Brits as well. So I know it's possible. and it happened again. Evans just not strong enough to get it over the line there.
Yeah, I would agree with you. It's not really a massive upset. However, you could say it's very unprecedented. I know you had Evans going quite far.
Dark horse.
Yeah, he was your dark horse for the whole tournament, and he's out already in the first
mate.
round. I don't know. You just expect him to beat Norrie. They've played each other so many times, and he rarely loses. And to be doing it on the big stage in the Grand Slam, I'm sure he would trade in all them other wins and the Battle of the Brits for this one Grand Slam victory against him. But Evans is a bit of a funny one. I remember last year he struggled here at the Australian Open against Mackenzie McDonald, I believe. He went down 2-0 and he come back and won that in 5. So maybe it's not really his kind of tournament, this one.
Yeah, he doesn't like it down under. He was not looking himself, really. He was a little bit agitated out on the court, but that's sort of normal for Dan Evans anyway. I think moving away from Dan Evans, well, Radu Albot, congrats to him. He's going to be facing in the next round. Well, not this guy, but this is the next one I wanted to speak about. You all been watching the podcast. You've all been seeing the tip come up on the screen. You've all been seeing the Bet US odds. You've all been seeing it was 4-1 for Popyrin to beat Goffin. I kept telling you, but nobody wanted to take it. And there you go. He's knocked out. I think he saved, was it 4 match points, I believe, in this match?
That's right.
Yeah, fantastic. And you see how many people were watching it as well. So many people there to cheer him on, and what a great result. He was so pumped afterwards. I was really pleased for Popyrin, but sad for Goffin at the same time.
Super sad. I feel like it's the same kind of thing with Monfils. You can put them in the same bracket. Yeah. Top players who just cannot win a match. They can't buy a match right now. Popyrin outside the top 100. Goffin, really, you've got to be honest, he needs to be winning these kind of matches. I know he's taking it to 5 sets. Some of them were super close. You can see that tie break in the 4th looked very close for Goffin with the match points as well. Yep. He just couldn't get it over the line. He can't get it over the line, and it is really hard to see these top players struggling right now. I'm sure they will find a bit of form again because they've got the ability. But right now, I think we should talk about Popyrin and in Monfils' case, who beat him? Ruusuvuori.
Ruusuvuori, yeah, man.
I think we just got to give credit to these 2 young players who have just done the job.
I mean, don't forget, Popyrin doesn't get much press these days, but he is one player I think he's only 20 as well, maybe. And he's just outside the top 100, 113 in the world. He could make he has a lot of potential. I mean, he fell down, I believe, a little bit in the rankings. He hadn't been playing too well, but I think he has the ability to get back in. He can get inside the top 100 and start.
Oh, pressing. Definitely, mate. He can easily, in my opinion, I know it could sound crazy, become a top 50 player soon. I think he's that good. It's just whether he consistently can pull off results. You can't just have a Goffin win and then lose to someone who's not very good in the next round. He needs to continue to keep pushing on because he's able to do it for sure. Yeah.
Well, move away from that one. This is just going to be a sort of roundup. We've got a few to get through. Chris O'Connell, the lad. Go on, Chris. We love to see that. We were cheering him on last night at the end of the Muguruza watch along. And look at that. But to beat Stroth in straight sets is super impressive. I mean, that's, if not, I know it's an upset, but to do it in style, I was really blown away, and especially 6-1 in the final set.
Mate, neither of us had the faith to put him through in the bracket, though, did we?
No.
Both went for Stroth, played it safe. I feel like we took risks in the wrong areas this year. Like all the risky plays we did, they've all lost, like quite dramatically as well. And then the ones like this, where we kind of have an incline, I don't know, Chris O'Connell could do something. But yet again, I'm not going to be too hard on myself. Leonard Stroth, he's been playing some good stuff at the ATP Cup. Really, really good, encouraging tennis from him. Almost even beat Rublev at one stage. So you'd expect him to follow that with some good results. But it wasn't to be. Chris O'Connell, yet again, should probably be talking about him. Another guy who I think should be inside the top 100. He doesn't seem to play enough tennis for me at the moment. I'm not sure what it is. I think last year he didn't. Yeah, probably the whole COVID stuff has disrupted him a little bit, and he was staying in Australia. You know how strict it is out there. But hopefully, if the world becomes a bit more normal this year, I think we're going to see Chris entering a lot of tournaments, and he's going to be going far.
Yeah, I think the keys to his victory yesterday, he was serving his first serve percentage points won 87%. That's really,
Gosh.
really high. And
Yeah.
42 winners to 23 unforced errors, which if you keep
He had to do it, though. He had to play an almost perfect match to beat Stroth.
if he keeps doing those numbers, well, he has a chance of beating Radu Albot, I think. But we don't want to underestimate Radu Albot again, because Radu Albot is one of those players. He can pull off the extreme results that we've just seen. He's knocked out Bautista Agut. That I think he'll be confident going in to play Chris O'Connell. But
I think I'll be surprised if I go down the bracket and I see anyone who doesn't have Stroth playing Agut in the next round. And neither of them have gone through. So we're going to be seeing Chris O'Connell versus Albot. I'm personally going to go for Chris O'Connell to win that one. But saying that, Albot could easily surprise me. It's a good opportunity for these two players who aren't the highest ranked in the world to be going and advancing to a third round of a Grand Slam. So one of them's going to do it.
Well, exactly, mate. It's exciting stuff as well. But yeah, I was going to say probably the players at the bottom with their joke brackets have probably got both of those going through and are probably pushed up into the top of
probably
the
overtaken me now. I'm probably like rock bottom.
Oh, mate, there's been some shockers. My Leila Fernandez one was a terrible one. On reflection, she didn't really stand a chance, did she? But yeah, moving on. Well played, Chris O'Connell. Hopefully, we get to speak to him soon. I'm going to.
Yeah, no, it's interesting you say that. We obviously did speak to him. We had a podcast with him.
Yeah,
if you guys haven't checked it out, go check it out. It was funny actually because after he won, we was getting a few views on the old podcast, the Chris O'Connell one. I was checking.
Yeah, exactly.
People must be searching it.
This one, another 5-setter. Mikhail Weimer. I know it's not as much of an upset, but Hubert Hurkacz been playing
I'd say
well.
it was. Yeah. I think this is a big one, mate. This is definitely a really big one. Mikhail Weimer, he's not been putting off too many great results of late. Hurkacz, on the other hand, has been the man to beat on tour. He's obviously won a tournament.
Yep.
Been playing really well. You thought after he won the first set, I remember we was covering it yesterday after the end of the Muguruza stream. It was kicking off then, and we saw he won the first set. I must admit, I thought it was over. I thought he would have then pushed on and won. So I was really surprised to have woken up to Weimer going through.
Yeah. Definitely. That's what's so crazy about this for us. We go to bed and just assuming that people are going through, and then you wake up and you're...
It's the most confusing thing because you see part of the match. So you see like, oh, they're up a set or it's 1-0 or 2-1 up. And you think, oh, they'll get that wrapped up. You wake up in the morning and it's all over and they've lost.
Exactly.
It's happened a few times last night.
Yes, it happens far too often. I woke up this morning, I think about 10 to 7, and then I just thought, oh, I've got to check my phone and just see. And then I saw the Radu Albot one. I was like, oh my God. And I literally couldn't go back to sleep. I was just hooked, and I saw Evans Norrie was on, so I whacked that one on. Yeah, I've been up since early doors, mate.
He's loving it, Ben, isn't he?
No, I couldn't help myself, mate. I was too excited. I was just ready to go and watch Sitter Pass. I saw Ashley Barty went through with a double bagel as well. I was like, oh my God, who's going to stop her this time? I wish I had her to win it now.
Mate, I've got to go into the final, so it doesn't sound that crazy anymore. And I want to say well done on the stream earlier with Sitter Pass. Well done to Dan as well. I thought you both did a really good job, and I enjoyed having a listen while I was plugging away with the numbers on Excel.
Nice, mate. So, yeah, well done to Mikhail Weimer anyway. Let's have a look to see who he will be playing in the next round. He's going to be playing... Oh, no, I've got his brother there. Typical.
I'll just type it in on Google.
Carlos Alcaraz in the next round. And this is something that I was speaking about earlier with Dan. If Alcaraz is able to get through Weimer, we could see a potential Sitter Pass Alcaraz third round match. Come on.
Mate, honestly, Ben, this is going to be amazing. It's going to be hard to call as well. Who's going to win that one? Weimer or Alcaraz?
Well, you'd think...
Another one in the balance. It's going to be really good for both of them two players because one of them now is going to advance to another third round. And as much as we don't want to see these upsets, it is good because it promotes these players who don't really get the opportunity at the big events to actually have a good chance. And they're fully worth it as well. It's not like they're just being... Maybe using opportunity is the wrong word. It's not like they've just been picked out of a raffle and been like, oh, there you go, you're going to be in the next round. They've earned it. They've worked hard. They've played well. They've beat the best and they've earned it and they've got through. So I'm really happy.
Yeah, Mikhail Weimer. He will. Well, for me, I can see the bookies making Alcaraz the favourite as well in this one. It's every time they jump on it, but I think Weimer I don't want to go against Alcaraz, but Weimer's really good. Look, he just beat Hurkacz. That's not an easy person to beat. But he did just play 5 sets, and he could be
Yeah.
tied, and Alcaraz might take advantage, mate. So,
I'm actually going to go Alcaraz. You can have Weimer. I think Alcaraz is going to do him.
mate, I've got to cheer on Alcaraz. I want Tsitsipas Alcaraz. There's nothing I want more than that match right now.
Yeah.
So,
And Mary there asking me, JG, what's up with your brackets? Well, I think it just confirms. I just don't know anything about tennis. Like a lot of people have been saying it, and clearly I'm clueless. I just make it up as I go along.
sad.
But no,
mate,
it can happen.
you
It can
do.
happen to anyone. At the end of the day, I've still got my winners in there and my finalists and semi-finalists. So in theory, if they all advance and get there, I should pick up some points and hopefully I can get close to the top.
Yeah, I mean, let's move on with some more of these huge upsets. This one was a crazy one. Pedro Martinez, I know we spoke about it on one of the watch-alongs, but
Yep.
Nishioka is a hard court specialist. And Pedro Martinez, clay court through and through. Then he just blitzed him.
I think we need to maybe start putting a bit more respect on Pedro Martinez because we've both always said, I think it's the name. The name, he's Spanish, watching him in the past, it's just everything sort of goes towards, he's a clay court. Of course he is. He's very good on the clay courts. However, he's now made that transition, in my opinion, where he's not really known as that anymore. A bit like maybe a Buster, Carreno Buster, another Spanish player. He can do it on any surface as well. And I feel like Pedro Martinez is sort of following in the same footsteps. And there, yet again, an amazing, amazing result. And this guy, if you don't know who he is, you've got to watch him. He's so exciting to watch as well. We've never done a watch along for him, but I'd love to be honest. There's a few people on Twitter I see, and they've got fan accounts for him. They're just obsessed with him. So he's definitely got a lot of fans because he's an exciting tennis player. You can see there, them last 3 sets, 6-1, 6-1, 6-1.
Yeah, he's young, only 23. He's 87 in the world and could be inside the top 50 very soon if he keeps playing like that.
Yeah.
So one to watch, that is for sure. But Nishioka is a player that we raved on about so many times.
Disappointing for him, especially after taking the first set.
Yeah,
to lose it, I think it's the fashion of the loss for me. To be losing with 3 breadsticks is just, I don't know, whether it was an injury or something else was going on. Not very good from him at all.
Yeah, so now that sets up an interesting one. Pedro Martinez versus Emil Rusevori in the next round. So 2 youngsters.
It's good that we've seen this with all of these upsets. They're being rewarded from winning their first round match. They've been rewarded with a relatively good draw in terms of it's going to be a lot even on the odds.
Yes, definitely, mate. Yeah, well, I know I would back Rusevori, but I wouldn't be surprised now if Martinez can really.
I would go for Martinez. So we've gone neck and neck on each one of these, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think they're all going to be really close.
So next upset, we go to the women's, and it's a huge one for my bracket. It's destroyed it. Azarenka I had in the final. So I'm completely dead in my bracket. So Azarenka tumbles out. And one of the things, which I don't know if anybody saw it, she was struggling to breathe on court. She had some real serious problems. And I don't know what was happening going into this, but the doctor was called out onto court. She was struggling. I don't know what was wrong. Something maybe to do with the quarantining, and maybe I have no idea. But she came out with something quite interesting. I saw this tweet from Ben Rothenberg, and it was like, considering her match had to pause for an off-court medical timeout. This reaction is entirely expected. No, is an entirely expected question. Was somewhat surprising from Azarenka. She said, "I don't want to discuss my health." And there should be a rule change. So, I think
very interesting, mate. I didn't know too much about this until you've shared this now. So I don't really want to say too much about Azarenka and really rip into her. Clearly, there's something going on behind the scenes. Maybe not everyone knows too much about. I was going to put it down to the fact that she just played a tournament just before. We've noticed everyone who's done that and not pulled out have gone out so far.
Yeah, exactly.
Seen it with Sinner, seen it with Evans, seen it with Azarenka now as well.
Well, the question she got asked, you see, is did you have any illness going into the match? What happened there in the second set? It looked like you had some breathing issues. And she replied, I don't really know why we're getting asked about some of medical conditions from players because of all that's going on out there on the internet for people to talk about, to judge about. I truly don't ever understand that rule of why, when somebody is sick, injured, or whatever, they have to give a medical reason out to the world. In I think that this should be changed. Unless players want to talk about it, then they can. But it shouldn't be mandatory requirement for people to talk about the health issues. Even legally, doctors should not release any information. So she's looking for an adjusted rule to be put in place. So
I'm
pretty,
going to be straight off the bat. I disagree. I think it is important to have transparency. I think the problem if you don't disclose issues with your health and stuff is the fact that people could start using it as a sort of a way to get out of events. There's no transparency in the sport, and we don't like to see that. I already don't like seeing medical timeouts when people are doing it for gamesmanship. I think it sort of feeds into the same thing of using it as an excuse and not having to justify why they've made that action. I can understand your health should be personal. It's not part of the world. However, you're a tennis player where you appear on TV, you play in front of millions of people. At the end of the day, you're getting a good wage from doing that. I think that just comes part and parcel of the sport that you've got to disclose medical information as well.
yeah, I think that she's going to be in line for a lot of hate, probably. And I don't really want to say it because
I
a
don't
lot of
think
the
she
tennis.
will because it's Azarenka. I think she'll be
No,
immune to it, and I'm not even going to give her
not
too
from
much.
that. No, but you're not. Let me finish. She's going to be. A lot of players get a lot of hate from people in the gambling community, and
Ah,
if you're not willing to disclose if you're going on court with a medical condition and you're compromised and you're a favorite, and people we had in the chat earlier had backed Azarenka to win in straight sets with €200. If had they known before the match she was compromised, I'm sure they wouldn't have risked their spending money. So that's what I mean. Like that type of thing, people are wasting money and they're not aware that people are actually sick. So in that case, they're going to get a lot of stick. She's going to get a lot of messages of hate. She's going to get a lot of stuff like that come her way if there isn't transparency.
yeah, that's
So
wrong. That's another issue. It's wrong in itself. The
yeah,
whole
it is
people,
wrong.
all the trolls online and stuff. That's
Yeah,
another
there's
problem.
racism, there's all sorts. There's just the worst type of things with all these trolls who send messages after they lose matches. And it's disgusting. I hate it and it needs to stop. Those people need to be found. They need to be blocked. They need to be, well, the police need to have a word with them because you can't have that type of behavior in the world and get
Yeah,
away with
I've
it
said it for a
properly.
long time. What they need to do is like accounts like Twitter, Facebook, and stuff. When you open an account, you should have identification. So you have an ID, which you then go to that account. Because you see a lot of people hiding behind like a player or an avatar or something, and you can sort of. I think it's more prone to them being the trolls. If you have some kind of identification where then that account can be reported and it can come up with your exact name, address, everything else, I think people would be a lot less likely to do it and it's not too much of an issue. Like with a lot of things, so if you want to open a gambling account, you have to provide all your information and your ID and driving license. Why not do that to open a social media account? I think that is the way forward, personally.
Yeah, exactly. People are always trying to find ways around these things, though, just so that there's some very strange people in the world and people who just project a lot of hate out of their and these people just need to be ignored. There's something that I heard the other day, and it was very true. And they said that hate is only something that affects the person that is hating something. It shouldn't affect the other people, really. That person within them has the problem. It isn't the other people. So you sort yourself out. Don't
Yeah.
just project onto others. So anyway, we'll move away from that because it's a bit of a touchy subject. And this one, big upset for me. Even though they're close in the rankings, Sakara's been in great form. But the Mladenovic, she's done a weird one again. She got bageled, but it's in between. There's a bagel in between two nice sets.
Yeah, it's just the most typical Mladenovic match you'd ever
Yeah,
see in the world. She's obviously got bundles of talent, but the amount of times you see this girl bageled or breadsticked or up serving for the match and losing matches is just unbelievable.
yeah,
After getting bageled in the second set, for me, I would not be. I wasn't obviously I was asleep, but I just thought I would have thought that Mladenovic could still win this match because it doesn't really mean too much for her. It happens all the time. She has
yeah.
relapses. Very strange player. However, credit to her, she managed to beat Sakari, which is no easy feat.
No, it's very, very difficult to beat Maria Sakkari, especially in the form that she's been in recently. She's been looking like one of those players. I think some people had her as going to the final
Yeah.
in their brackets, which now, look, you're in my boat. Azarenka's out, Sakkari's out, and we're there fighting it over, hoping that our other pick gets to the final. So
I think
I've
it was
got
Mikey Mata, I believe. Mikey Mata said he's got Sakkari going to the final. Obviously, the guy who's doing the best on our bracket league right now.
yeah,
So even the best predictors are struggling right now.
Almino there.
This Australian Open.
Sakkari lost. Oh, geez, I'm buggered again. Yeah, I think a lot of people are feeling the same way, mate. Don't you worry about that. I mean, it'd be interesting to have a look at the bracket to see, because I think it's like completely torn it wide open now with Sakkari going out. Obviously, I think a few people would have had her going quite
Yeah.
deep into the tournament.
Yeah, because
So-
now Mladenovic is going to be playing Hibino in the next round.
Is that right? Well,
Yep.
I see Madeleine. I can't. I'm not going to say it. I'm not.
Yeah,
gonna say
no,
I
you
see-
can't call it. Generally, she's just that hot and cold. Mladenovic will be the favourite, but let's just see what happens. I'm actually going to go for Hibino to beat her because why not? I'm not even going to give a reason. Just why not?
I think that match will be 6-love, love 6, 6-love, probably something like that. But yeah,
Yeah,
now
sounds
we
about
got
right.
we obviously got Jessica Pegula. She's going through. She'll face Sam Stosur now instead of Azarenka, and then we got Madlenovic, and now that sort of looks quite nice. That little bracket there. Now there's no Sakkari, no Azarenka.
Yeah,
And
it's opening up for someone. Someone's going to have a good run. Just not sure who it's going to be. And midfield maestro, they're saying Sakkari was in hard quarantine. We've got to be careful with this excuse because we've seen some of the people in hard quarantine absolutely smash it up right now.
Yeah, but she played well last week in the other tournament, didn't she? So this is what I mean. But players from that tournament may be susceptible. And even though Ashley Barty, she started well, is she going to have some fatigue come in at some point? We don't know that yet. But she looks like a world beater right now.
If she's double bageling, mate, she's not going to be too tired.
She was off the court, and then literally, I woke up and I just thought, oh, I've got like ages till the Tsitsipas match. No, I haven't. Ashley Barty just completely wiped the floor with her. So, what can I do?
And Elisa, they're saying Azarenka is very sweet until she loses.
Well, there you go. Isn't it the same for a lot of players, though?
Yeah, a lot of people are the same. I'm probably a bit like that as well.
This one, bit of a shock as well, mate. I think we all had Kerber going through, and the bad, inconsistent run sort of continues. We thought we were going to see her turn it around, but Bernarda
what has happened to Angelique Kerber? World #1, winning Grand Slams, and now she's just this 25th in the world. Probably going to drop a lot more than that after this tournament now, and just don't know, inconsistent. She wins the odd match here and there against some good players. Just nowhere near her best. Are we ever going to see Angelique Kerber go back to the top again? I'm not so sure. I'm really not so sure. She's just seems to be declining every year what passes now. Yeah,
she has to change something dramatic to change this type of form. Getting bageled is never a good sign. And comfortable win for Bernarda Pera.
Who's not actually been in that great form, Pera. She's a really good player. I always back her. I had her for a dark horse in one of the tournaments this year already. And then since then, I've gone against her on the first time ever because I'm such a big fan of her. And she goes and beats Kerber. So, one of them years. JG Curse, yeah.
Yeah, what can you do? I had Kerber as well. But it's in the sort of mini bracket with Muguruza. So, hoping, Badoza actually went out as well to Samsonova in the end. So, that's another one ruined for me. Another one I just want to speak about quickly before we wrap it up was Joanna Konta. She's gone out. She was leading a set, and she was a breakdown in the second set against Kaya Juvan, and she pulled out with an injury. So that's really disappointing to see. Do
you want to get the seedings up? The other picture I showed you?
Sure. Yeah. 1 sec.
There we go. So here we go. This is all the seeds what have gone out. Just like a recap. As Ben said, Konta, one we didn't speak about, Martic, another seed out, Wang Zhang, both of them are out. Kerber, Azarenka, Risk, Sakkari we've spoke about. Goffin, obviously, we've already spoken about. Same with Evans, Agut. Benoit Paire, is that a big shock? Benoit Paire out?
Not really.
Not really. Monfils, same again, not really a big shock, but really sad for him. And Herkas. So they're the seeded players who have tumbled already.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to see, but we could Well, like we said, the draw's opening up now, and we can see some fresh young talent maybe getting into like a third or fourth round, which is exciting. So, especially someone like an Alcaraz, I really want to see him do well in this tournament. So I'll be cheering him on against Mikhail Weimer, and hoping we can see that Tsitsipas Alcaraz match in the third round. That's only if Tsitsipas gets past Kokkinakis, though. But I'm quietly confident that he should be able to do that. What do you like?
Yeah.
Did you like the new Tsitsipas graphic I made earlier?
Yeah, mate, it was awesome, mate. I loved it. The Colosseum coming down as well.
Show it one more
It's a good
time
job.
just for fun. Yeah,
Yeah, good job, mate. No, I love it. It's really good, and I'm glad he went through for us because then we can use it again.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Might have to add some more instruments. Thomas Rock will be
Lucky
out
he didn't
after
make
the
a
other.
Joanna Konta one. That's all I'm saying. And I was just looking there because I wasn't sure how it played out. She won the first set and she was up a break in the second. No, she was down a break in the second and she got injured. So it's really hard for her to take because in that position, you'd still fancy her to potentially be able to come back.
Well, yeah, for sure, mate. I'm just seeing Damien there. He's just saying joining for the first live of the year for him, which is great. Thanks for
Welcome back,
joining.
Damien.
That's it, mate. And just excited for Igor and Uber in this season that we're going to be probably doing watch-alongs for them for sure. We've done one already for Herkaj, haven't we? And yeah, hope you stay safe and healthy yourself, mate. So we'll see you on one of the watch-alongs, hopefully on the one later, because we're going to be doing Bianca Andreescu, and she is up against Sue. I think that's how you pronounce it. I never know if I'm getting it right. But can Andreescu mount a challenge on the title now that there's a few people dropping out? And yeah, she could be potentially facing either she could be potentially facing Venus Williams or a Sarah Arani in the next round. So she'd probably fancy a chance against either of those if she gets through.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And like Ben said, Andreescu later, midnight. Hopefully, loads of you can join us for that. And in the morning, we're hoping to be doing Ugo Umber versus the one and only Nick Kyrgios.
Oh, yeah, Ugo Umber, Kyrgios. Love that. That's going to be probably on early in the morning tomorrow morning, isn't it? So
yeah,
try and get up bright and early. Probably won't even be light yet, but we'll try
we'll have to do the one tonight relatively quick. In terms of like once it's over, that's it. We're not going to be talking about all the other stuff.
Oh, come on, Andreescu.
We have to give them a few time violations if they're taking too long to serve.
That's it, mate. Indeed. Well, anyway, I think we should wrap that up. I've got to start my day at work now. I've had the morning off, so I've got to get stuck into it now. I've got to have a quick sandwich, and then we'll catch you all later on the Andreescu match. Do not miss it.
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching. If you haven't already, please like the video. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. And yeah, we'll see you later.